McCain pretty hard, didn't he? All right, up next, a radical new Democratic Congresswoman sparking bipartisan firestorm for her latest anti-Semitic comments.
Forced to apologize after bipartisan backlash over her anti-Semitic comments. Minnesota Congressman Omar under fire, including from top leaders of her own party, over a new round of controversial tweets. Omar accused a prominent lobbying group, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, of paying members of Congress to support Israel. The freshman lawmaker released a statement saying that she, quote, unequivocally apologizes, but then went on to call AIPAC's lobby, quote, problematic. We saw a lot happen today, Kennedy. Last night, Chelsea Clinton was the only prominent Democrat to come out today, but today we did see Pelosi issue a statement, other Democrats issue a statement condemning these remarks, and of course she apologized. My question is, she sits on House Foreign Affairs Committee. Is this enough? Should she still be on that committee, or does the apology and the condemnation, does that just put a pretty little bow on it?
No, I think all bets are off. It depends. If this is a political ally of yours, then you have to defend her behavior. But I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay what Ralph Northam did. I don't think it's okay in this situation. I don't appreciate people not understanding the racist roots of the things that they mock and not fully grasping. I don't appreciate her being an anti-Semite. And I think anti-Semitism is a huge problem right now. And it's something that is really being sort of swept under the carpet by the left. And, you know, there are people within the movement who have said pretty atrocious things and, you know, dehumanized Jewish people as a whole. And I think when we start to get into that territory, because if you take something that a Republican or another person you disagree with out of context and say this is racist, then you have to apply the same metric.
Sure.
And if we do that to everyone and have the exact same purity metric, it's going to be very difficult.
Juan, so Kennedy brings up a good point. There's actually a piece by Brett Stevens in the New York Times called The Progressive Assault on Israel. And I challenge everyone to read it. And Brett went through it piece by piece at an LGBTQ task force conference where they were chanting from the river to the sea, which many people knows means, you know, no state of Israel. He went through how Booker, Warren, Harris all tried to block anti-BDS legislation in the Senate. And I thought it was a pretty convincing case. And I know that we've talked about this quite a bit on the Five, where you see anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism that has taken root in somewhat mainstream policies on the left. Do you agree with that, or where do you think your party stands on Israel?
Oh, I think the party is very supportive of Israel. I don't think there's any question about that. I think what's going on here is you have people who are, well, in the case of Representative Tlaib from Michigan, but also Omar from Minnesota, you have people who coming in who for the first time are giving voice to people who oppose Israel's policies with regard to Palestinians. I think Tlaib is the first Palestinian woman, someone from Palestinian heritage, to be elected to the Congress.
The first woman. I think there's been other men.
Okay. And so the point is here that from their perspective, they are trying to criticize Israeli policies and U.S. support for Israeli policies.
So you don't think
and what what she said was offensive, because then she played into the whole meme about Jewish people having money that influences politicians, and that's what she apologized for. But I think you have lots of people, including Kevin McCarthy, now the minority leader in the House, who are jumping on this because they see this as a way to potentially divide Democrats. I hope it's not the case, and I think it's evidence that of good faith that you have people like Pelosi saying what this congresswoman did was wrong.
What do you think, Jesse? Is it political?
Yeah, of course, everything's political. I think Pelosi is the one with the problem. If you think about it, she had, you know, freshman female come in and traffic in anti-Semitism, freshman female come in and say impeach the MRFer, and another freshman female to come in and unveil a Green New Deal, which is basically a joke Republicans are now going to run against. And if you also look, someone didn't even see this headline, Maxine Waters hit with 3 new ethics violations, and she's supposed to be running House Financial Services. Pelosi has come in and done what? Besides shut the government down.
Well, everything is
not much.
Hillary Clinton.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, I don't think Pelosi's got a great track record here, and this Omar person is just not ready for prime time. She's not polished enough. She's accused someone of blackmailing sexually a senator. She said horrible things about the Covington boys, and she's about to get sued for that. And she's called Israel evil. So she's a big problem.
To Jesse's point, though, Jewish leaders in her district did sit her down and talk to her about this. She's apparently had a lot of counseling, yet she still tweets these anti-Semitic things.
Well, I'm always, as I say, Somebody apologized. I accept the apology, so I accept the apology. The tweet about the Benjamins was a problem, not for the actual tweet, just the tweet, but it was in a context of things when you describe Jews as hypnotic conspirators. That's kind of a bigger issue than the Benjamins thing. The bottom line is there's a lot of countries in the Middle East, and one isn't Muslim, and that's the one she doesn't like. So we have to ask ourselves, is this a form of bigotry? And I think she apologizes, so that's a step. But you know who tweeted support for her? David Duke. So if I were to do what a liberal does and employ guilt by association, the Democrats are now the party of Sarsour, Farrakhan, Omar, and Duke.
Well, that takes effort. Okay.
Not really. It was pretty easy.